Hi, babe. I'm so sorry that my wedding is too expensive for you. It is not my fault that you are broke. Maybe just don't RSVP to my invitation. Stay home. It's okay. Today's topic is gonna be you are cheap if you make your guests pay for your wedding. I'm Tele, I'm gonna be your host, and together with me, I have Muna on the opposing team, and on the affirmative team, we have Lingy and Hersey. And we have 5 minutes for each side to start today's debate. Let's go. Okay. And go.
What is cheap? Thesaurus the word cheap and you will realize it could mean to describe someone who is stingy, insincere, tawdry, and my favorite one I found, unsophisticated. Next to establish in this motion is what paying is classified as. What are the guests paying at a wedding? Understandably, while it is common practice in Asian society to gift monetarily to a couple, let's not confuse gifting from paying. Now, the problem when someone pays for something and not gift it, it is arguably then becomes an exchange for goods and service. Something that should be contractually binding, where I, attendee, the client in question, and you, the couple, are my service provider. For the sake of our argument, we want judges to clearly see that gifts does not equal payment. Gift you don't expect, payment you require. When couples require attendees to pay at a wedding, the issue becomes a matter of price tag. When discussing price tag, consumers are entitled to the breakdown of what their expenditure covers and itemize the spendings. Where is my $888 ong pao going to? Where does it cover? Where does it cap at? And what becomes tips? The banquet, the venue rental, her wedding dress? And if I say no, why am I paying it off for the couple? What if I don't agree with their taste? What if their taste was unsophisticated?
Excuse me.
You know what Webster has thesaurus unsophisticated as?
What?
Cheap. Couples should already assume that these costs are their costs to incur. Nobody gets to finalize the choice of the items in your wedding, not the menu, not the venue, and certainly not your unsophisticated taste in wedding dress. So why assume that my attendances require a cover charge or a minimum spend like you're some tacky beach club in Sentosa? Are you cheap? Stupid is the couple who think that putting together a wedding won't require money. If you didn't want to have to spend on your wedding or parts of it, then don't have a wedding, Mr. and Mrs. Cheap. And if it is true, the minimally a guest should cover their own costs at a wedding, here are 3 wedding scenarios that will complicate the expectation of minimum spend at a wedding. Number 1, the halal banquet goers. Can you announce how much the halal banquet attendee pay versus the non-halal banquet? If I prefer the halal banquet as a non-Muslim, can I jump the menu? I'm the customer in question, no. The disparity in minimum Hong Pao spend between the attendees' experiences won't just complicate the planning process, but make you, the couple, have to budget your deposit differently to what you initially have planned. You know what we call a couple who has to reconsider their budget because they don't have disposable income? Cheap. Overseas destination wedding. Already the guest is expected to pay for their flights and accommodation and now have to consider your wedding cover charge. Is my attendance not expenses enough incurred by me, expecting me to pay at your destination wedding and have work leave to clear for? If I give you money, it's called present. If I don't, I've paid for in presents. Expecting me to pay at your destination wedding is stingy. And what did Webster thesaurus stingy as? Cheap. Influencer sponsored weddings. Can you announce and itemize? Which elements of the wedding are sponsored? Was your venue covered for? Now, Lingy, I will pass to you.
Okay, not making someone pay at your wedding is a commonly known social etiquette. Yeah?
It is?
Nobody makes their guests pay at their wedding. You name one friend who made you pay at their wedding. Don't have, right? I don't know anybody like that. In fact, the last time I heard something like that was on Mothership. It was so ridiculous that it made it to news. That means everybody think it's cheap. Okay, allow me to define cheap again. People who want things above their pay grade and expecting other people to pay for it. Or people who can afford things they want, but they want other people to pay for it. Making your guests pay at your wedding makes you either one of those people, and both are textbook cheap behaviors. And your wedding is your special day. It's not mine. In fact, I should be paid for being part of your wedding because you envisioned that. I didn't. My presence contributed to the vibe, to the success of this wedding. In fact, if you want to talk money, you should be paying me money. Wedding is about romance. What can be more unromantic than forcing monetary transactions at a wedding? Okay, if one is willing to sacrifice romance for money chat, I, in the name of Shakespeare, declare that in the face, I see cheap. Okay? I have some time, so I'm going to talk about one more point. Okay? Last but not least.
In your face, I see cheap.
Pay attention.
Hey, cheap is not necessarily a bad connotation, what?
Yeah.
Okay? I'm cheap. I don't buy branded bags. I'm cheap. I only eat at hawker center. People have no problem saying that, what? You have no problem making that statement. then why suddenly you are being so defensive of admitting that you are cheap? Because you make people pay at your wedding, leh? You are cheap. It's okay, what?
We're okay with it.
You're okay, what?
Oh.
But you are cheap.
Why you say us?
No, we are
Oh, I thought it's
hypothetically
okay, what?
saying you,
Oh,
the big
hypothetically, yeah.
and
Okay.
finish.
Okay.
Okay.
A good time management, by the way.
Yeah, good job.
Green for that.
Tea.
Green for that.
Okay.
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so you know what? Is it wrong? Is it a crime to be cheap? I think it's okay. You know what? Sometimes we don't have the financial means to do a whole wedding on our own without anyone else covering some of the expenses. Especially in this day and age in Singapore, it is notoriously expensive in Singapore. If you have had a wedding, but yours was overseas, right? But I'm sure you have been to weddings in Singapore, right? And you have seen other people hosting the weddings in Singapore, and you know how expensive it is. So according to this report done by the Singapore Wedding Report in 2021, the average cost of a wedding ranged between 30,000 to 50,000 SGD here in Singapore, depending on the venue and the scale, of course. And it is quite common for the newlyweds to say, hey, perhaps you guys can help us cover a little bit. And you know what? It is cheap. Maybe you say it is cheap. I think it's okay. In this day and age, it's very hard to make ends meet. So what's wrong with asking your guests to help a little bit? Plus, you can always say no to the wedding invitation. You come there, you help a little bit. We all know how tough it is. Today, it is your turn to help me. Tomorrow, it's my turn to help you.
Kindness.
Yeah, and I think it's only fair, you know?
Support.
Yeah, exactly. And I heard of initiatives such as like pay per plate. So you just pay for your share right before you go for the wedding. And then, nobody has to worry about anything else. And you can say that, hey, maybe I have to give a housewarming gift later on. But maybe that could just be your ang pao when you go for the wedding now. And it could be just like a $200 ang pao you can give him for 88 lah. Host at a wedding, that's fine. Whatever you think, it's okay. And plus, I don't think anyone will actually tell the guests, you have to pay this certain amount for it to count. You can just say you can pay whatever is comfortable for you, but you pay something lah. So maybe you pay 88 cents, you pay 88 cents. I will say yes. Thank you for covering.
Yes.
Thank you for paying a part. Yeah.
In the words of William Shakespeare,
Oh,
beauty lives with kindness.
Okay.
Now, in Singapore, the practice of guests contributing to the cost of wedding, typically in the form of ang paos or money, is not only culturally accepted, but is also expected in many situations. This system is rooted in cultural traditions and is a common practice in many weddings here. Making guests pay at weddings, either partially or fully, does not carry the same stigma of being cheap as it might in some Western cultures. Instead, it is seen as a mutual exchange of goodwill and part of the broader social and cultural expectations surrounding weddings. According to the Straits Times in 2021, 82% of Singaporeans surveyed said that they expect to give ang pao when attending a wedding, and nearly 70% are comfortable with the idea of contributing to the cost of the wedding meal. So this suggests that the guests don't feel uncomfortable or used when making a contribution. They view it as part of the social contract of attending a wedding. In recent years or so, there has been a trend toward more intimate or budget-conscious weddings in Singapore. So not everyone is going all out to have a big wedding. As more couples, they opt for smaller or personal weddings, the practice of asking guests to contribute monetarily has become more common. A 2019 The Wedding Scoop survey revealed that 47 of the couples in Singapore plan to have a wedding with fewer than 150 guests, which could encourage couples to be more transparent about the cost expectations.
So imagine you're going for a more small-scale wedding. Okay, it could be like you just rent a whole restaurant out and you guys, or even a function room, perhaps. I've seen friends doing that, or even at home. And you often hear the phrase of saying, a BYOB. Bring your own bottle. Okay, for those who drink, right, they will bring their own bottle, and you can perhaps bring some of your own food and snacks. And maybe this time you don't have to bring your own bottle, don't have to bring your own snacks and food. Just bring a little red or green packet lah. And then you put whatever amount you want inside, because nobody's going to dictate that you have to give a certain amount. You just have to contribute something to show that you care for this newlywed.
It's not that we are asking for a lot, It's just that I invite you to come to my party. Like, you come to a party empty-handed, meh?
You won't,
No,
right? Oh, you do?
I do.
In
I
the name
do.
of William Shakespeare,
Yeah.
in thy face I see cheap.
Yes, exactly.
Why is William Shakespeare black?
Who's to say
It
what
was the first one that
ethnicity
came
he
to my
was,
mind. Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
I
The
think it's
intention.
all about being kind and respectful. If someone invite you over, you just think like, okay, how can I contribute back? Either money
No, I don't
or
think that. I don't.
food.
I just don't.
Time for rebuttal. Oh, okay.
My fellow judge, Muna has gone all the way to explain how money at a wedding from the guests are social construct of attending a wedding and are culturally expected. But I have explained, if she did listen, that gifting is not payment. Gifting is something that you gift and I don't expect, that I don't require for. And our motion is if you make your guests pay. A requirement. And what is a requirement? Payment. Therefore, things become goods in exchange and services. Now, to counter back to Leong's argument of how things have become expensive and therefore kindness from their attendees is extended through paying part of their share of this wedding, then let me take you back to the tiers of weddings. What about influencer-sponsored weddings? How do we calculate what is minimum Hong Pao spend at an influencer wedding? Surely if we don't know, we don't anyhow assume the price tag. Already you have costs covered for you, and now you expect to cover invisible costs. And who knows if you're even paid to partner your wedding vendors. That's win for you and lose for every other party. That is tawdry. And what did Webster Thesaurus tawdry as? Cheap. Lingy, do you have anything to? Because
yeah, sure. I'm just so sorry for them. When they were saying like, it's very nice. It would be nice if you contribute a little bit to my wedding, right?
Yes,
Let's say my wedding is very expensive. It's known that it's expensive in Singapore. Agree, 100%. But this is not about me as a guest. Now we are arguing if you are cheap, if you're asking for those.
I am.
And the motion is if you're cheap, if you make your guests pay at your wedding, not if you ask your pay. It's not if you advise your guests. It's not you hint your guests. It's you make. If you draw that picture in your mind, you pay.
Ever
But
said that?
nobody ever does that also.
Yeah.
Like nobody ever pressures the guest.
Oh,
So we need to redefine it. Have
Oh, is
meh?
it- okay, we
That
don't
the mothership
physically-
article.
Oh, okay.
What is this mothership article show lah?
It's a girl, right? She
Uh.
texts the guest, right? Then you
Okay.
say that my wedding costs this much per person. Then you only pay $50. You are supposed to pay 150, for example. So that
Okay.
article made mothership. Everybody was like, "Whoa,
minimum spend lah, macam cover charge at the wedding.
yeah."
But this is only one girl out of
correct.
How
Out
many
of
girls a day?
every-
But
Correct.
the debate motion defines
and
it
this girl
that
cheap.
you are
Yes.
cheap if you make your guests pay at your wedding. That
What
is
if
an
I say
expectation.
I'm financially responsible? I am being financially responsible to myself and my partner and my family by making sure that I don't incur too big of a loss by doing something that is already being instructed to me that I have to do because it's like a social construct that people tell you that you have to do. You have to have a wedding. When you have a wedding, then your friends will come say, "Hey, you cheap lah, why you don't have a wedding?" So now I say, "Okay, I'm not cheap. I make
Then
a
you are
wedding, then you
financially
come."
savvy and cheap, and that's okay. We're not upset
Yeah,
that,
we're not
that you
upset.
can claim that you are cheap. Yeah, it's
I'm
okay.
we are not here like to force the guest to pay. I don't think that's what we're looking at here.
Mhm.
Uh-huh.
I
What-
think we have to redefine it.
What
Yeah.
what do you want
And
to redefine the
to
motion
say-
as here?
To say that you make your guests pay means there is an expectation of guests
Oh.
who attend
Isn't that
to
what I
put
said?
out some, but not to unlock and make them pay and
Ah.
force them to pay.
See,
it's
there's
just
a difference.
an expectation.
There's a difference if it's a gift versus make your guest pay means it's required.
Means it's an expectation, correct?
Yes.
Are we aligned on that?
Yes.
Yes.
So if you give gifting is if you give great. If you tak give tak apa date, just enjoy the void deck buffet.
Yes. So that's
Ah,
where we
you
differ.
agree?
Correct. No.
Oh.
As in like that's where the terms we align now. But as our side, we agree that it is not cheap. I'm so
Yeah,
confused with this
It is
motion.
not cheap. That's
It
all I
is
know.
not cheap
Ah.
to make the guests to expect guests to pay or put out a sum of money for attending the wedding.
Yeah.
Because as we all know,
Correct.
like weddings are expensive.
And it is socially known in Singapore that we all do contribute a part. So you see in terms of a gift or whatever, right?
Culturally.
I
So
don't know. I
everyone
didn't know that.
agree. Well, now you know. Now you're educated.
Now
okay,
you
now
know,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Now you
it
can
is
have your red
commonly
passport.
known in Singapore that when you attend a wedding, okay, you have to contribute a little bit. You
I
can
have
see.
never paid at my friend's wedding.
I'm sorry for your friends then. No, they don't have your
It's
contribution.
like when you go potluck, what is the idea
What
of
do you bring
potluck?
to
You
potluck?
must bring something correct,
Yes,
not?
because
Yes.
potluck requires you. Potluck makes everyone socially agree. Okay, we have
is
to bring
potluck.
something.
So, as a wedding already in Singapore's context, everyone also socially agrees we
Right.
need to put out some.
Like a housewarming.
What if it's a
Housewarming
Zoom
party.
wedding?
What?
Zoom wedding then,
Then
wa-
no
wa-
have
wa-
lah.
lam lah, that one. You
Do you
set your
have to
own
pay for the
boundaries.
subscription fee
Because
of
Get a
every
QR code
attended
now.
Don't need
attendee?
to. Don't need to. Actually,
Why,
yeah, my friend Zoom wedding, I never pay. I was not
Yes,
supposed to pay.
exactly.
No,
So
because
when the
there was
motion
no
goes
money
back,
coming
Yeah,
Yes,
but you're
but
not
this is
incurring
make
cost.
your guests pay at your wedding. You say it incurs costs, but what
Okay,
if there are no costs
we need to
incurred? And
define-
you still
And a
make
physical
someone
wedding.
We
pay-
need to define the wedding.
Hey,
the
that's
wedding
Physical
is
wedding.
It's a
Yeah,
physical
then we
wedding. It's an
define.
opera and a
Then
wedding.
we
la,
Physical
la,
wedding.
la, la,
It's
la,
a
la, la,
physical
la,
wedding.
Let's
Yeah.
imagine, okay, today's scenario, it's a physical wedding, okay?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
How to either a restaurant or a hotel, okay?
Yeah.
Stay with us, okay? Just for now.
Where am I
okay?
going? I've been here.
No, you went to the Zoom. You went on the Zoom, I tell you. Okay. So today we're hosting a physical wedding.
Yes,
And
yes.
imagine it as going to another housewarming party. What
Yeah.
do? It is a socially accepted etiquette to bring something as a gift to your friend's house, right? Would you go empty-handed for a housewarming party?
No, he already said he will.
Oh, you will? Okay. Hey, if you go empty-handed, then you are cheap lah.
I'm okay with
and
being
okay.
cheap.
Okay.
I am cheap. My name is Hirzi Zulkifli, and I am cheap.
Where we are coming from is
Yes.
we're not putting an expectation on how much it
Gonna
is.
go on
It's
these
just
verses.
It's just to put in a contribution.
Uh-huh.
No need the limit. Forget the limit. I know there's a whole other argument about how much you're supposed to put in, but the fact is, it is known that you have to put in something.
No, it's no. Expect is expect. If I know, but I don't want to give, you cannot expect. But you making me is your expectation required.
But it is a socially known expectation.
Yeah.
Would you not follow any of
Yeah
the
lah.
socially known expectations?
No, I don't.
Then why? Why you don't want to follow?
Yeah.
Because I'm a rebel.
Then why you come to the wedding?
Because I was invited.
So people invite you, you will go?
If you don't want to contribute, then don't come for the wedding. Then
Yeah.
don't make such a fuss. Like, oh,
Yeah.
now they expect me to pay. It's already a known thing that if you do
Yeah.
come, you have to put something out.
Then now I, the best friend, am pressured to make a decision. Oh my god, just because I am best friend now, I cannot attend my best friend big day. She has a minimum spend for me.
If
I cannot
you
afford
are-
this month.
No, she don't have a minimum spend.
In essence, you cannot afford.
Then
Why
don't
would you-
expect me to pay.
why would
If
you
you have
make
no
people
minimum
pay
spend,
88
I don't want to pay one.
If I put minimum spend, problem. If I don't put minimum spend, also
Problem.
So then don't expect me to pay.
Then I don't even invite you lah to the
I'm
wedding.
your best friend.
Why you don't want to contribute to my wedding?
Because you are well off than me.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
you-
even have $35 in my bank account.
How do you know she got 36?
Exactly.
Then don't have a wedding.
Oh, what? Why cannot have wedding? So no money cannot have wedding?
Yeah.
Ah.
Everyone must
On
not have
your
wedding,
wedding
is it?
invite, the words, we cordially invite you to our big day. But how cordial is
never
the
read that.
expectation of a minimum spend? The only cordial in the case of the wedding is the drink. If it's a Malay couple, and a Malay couple is cheap if they have a cordial drink. Now your bestest friend who cannot afford the drink, your invite now reeks insincerity, my fellow sister.
I think it's insincerity from the best friend who knows that she put in a lot of money for this wedding. The least you can do is also like, okay lah, I contribute.
Who asked
some.
you to make such a big wedding then?
It's not even a
Just
big wedding.
like ROM.
It's not
You are
even-
still wedded, right?
It's not even a big wedding.
A
As I
wedding is
said
an
just now.
intimate and meaningful
As-
affair.
Okay,
Don't
okay.
let the price tag come into whether
Hey,
or
Let
not
me
your
let me
friend
let me add
wants to
something.
show
Let me
up.
add something.
Yes,
Your
something.
wedding, your cost, our presents, our collective spent already for that day. Thank you.
Okay, okay.
Hey,
I
what? I thought it was.
Hey, I want to add something.
Okay,
lah.
go,
Okay,
go,
so
go.
so let's say you know that there's a lot of people out there who face pressure from their family. Okay, so the families will actually give them pressure and say that, hey, you have to make a wedding so we can grow face, we can show our colleagues and our friends that we have our kids getting married here lah, and it is a joyous occasion and you must invite a lot of people. And you don't want to do it, but you have to invite people, you have to host a grand wedding because of your parents and you want to be a good kid
Good.
to your
That's a
parents.
good
Who?
point.
Good, a
I
good
want
point.
To, I want to
Because
also add.
Malay families. Sorry, you want to?
Oh, then finish.
No, no, you go first.
Hey, no time.
Hey,
already.
hurry up,
Hey,
hurry up.
Okay, no, I just want to add, like a Sing Saver survey in 2020 indicated that 76% of wedding guests in Singapore understand that ang pao contributions are a way to help cover the cost.
Gift is gift.
No, it's
Famous
not
is
necessary.
famous.
It is a practice that is necessary to attending a wedding, not a sign of financial irresponsibility from the part of the couple. Okay, quick.
And done.
So the current score is Lingy and Hersey are winning by 1 point.
Only don't bluff. Come on.
Hey, excuse me. We
Yeah.
have good points too.
We're like
Yeah,
at least
exactly.
25
A
points
liar.
ahead. Currently, we are swapping the teams around.
Okay.
So
Okay.
If a couple,
Wait.
Okay, go.
If a couple expect guests to cover the cost of their meals, which can range from 100 Sing dollars to 200 Sing dollars per person for some wedding banquets, and additional services like drinks, then the expectation can become very excessive. While most Singaporeans understand that guests give an ang pao to cover a portion of the event, the survey by SingSaver in 2020 as well found that 62% of guests feel uncomfortable if they feel the amount expected in return is disproportionately high relative to their relationship with the couple or their financial situation.
That's right. So the people going for the wedding, okay, you have no choice but to go for the wedding today, right? Because, for example, it's your boss's wedding. For example, it's a colleague's wedding, and you have to be there. The whole kampong has to be there. And then they tell you, hey, this is at Shangri-La. This is one of the
Yes.
best hotels in Singapore, blah, 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 blah. And they're going to host like 50 tables. And you realize that per person, you're going to search online, right? So the average market price is going to be like minimum $300. You'd be like, I don't even spend that much in a month. Then how? But you have to be there. You got to show face, and you got to give the amount, because there are people who will come and say, hey, by the way, I saw that you give my wedding, you give the ang pao, it's $88, yeah. You know, if I want to quote the, in the words of William Shakespeare, "Thou art cheap." How dare
Correct.
you give me such a small ang pao for
Correct.
such a grand wedding?
Yes.
We provided entertainment. There were singers, a band, MC, professional MC hosting for you. We did all these extravagant things.
There.
We invited him.
As in the
anyway.
professional MC. Yeah, you see?
Yeah, exactly.
They paid Joaquim Gomez
And
to
Sonia also.
MC.
Exactly. And
Sonia.
Mona also there.
What
Yeah.
is cheap? Thesaurus the word cheap, and you
Right.
realize
Hey,
it could
repeating
mean
lah.
to
No.
describe someone who is frugal,
Eh?
cost-effective, savvy.
Ah.
Our team denies the accusation of cheap as something of a negative connotation.
I smell a
Cheap,
guest.
though, in a more condescending tone, could mean insincere, miserly, and stingy. We can see how cheap has a double meaning, my judge, and it's a matter of which you want to agree with. And if you can disagree and agree with either way, perhaps there is no weight to the meaning of the word cheap.
Oh.
So then, what is the point of this debate?
So
Now let's go back. Let's go back to where you guys gave the example of a birthday and social expectations
Okay.
of that, right?
okay.
See,
okay.
Hey, that's our point.
I
that's
know.
our point.
I'm trying to give you a new point
Okay.
perspective of it. When you are invited to, say, a wedding, the minimum expectation of at least paying for your meals and the audacity of the venue chosen for you is all that is minimally expected. Right? You come to just pay for those things. I take it to example when I produce a comedy show. When I do a ticketing per cost, I include what is their cost to pay for and what is cost for me to profit. When I expect you to pay at my wedding, I don't expect to profit. I expect to hopefully just minimally charge you the cost of what you are eating. and
That was
consuming.
our point.
Yeah.
That was our point just now.
You know what? I didn't know that we had Thanos in the room, because reality can be whatever I wanted to be like. It's like flipping the thesaurus
Wow.
meaning.
So
Ah.
therefore-
Therefore, there is no cheap. There is no cheap.
It's
No,
only
no, no.
practical.
Okay, so in certain parts of Singapore, particularly among the younger or more modern individuals such as us, the idea of guests paying directly for significant portions of the wedding can clash with traditional values and hospitality and celebration. A 2019 survey from the Wedding Scoop indicated that 55% of Singaporeans feel that weddings should be hosted by the couple or their families with the understanding that guests contribute in a symbolic way, but not through direct payments for substantial portions of the event.
Huh?
What? New generation? Yeah, since we're talking about
Hey,
new
this
generation.
is 55% of Singaporeans.
Since we're talking
guests
about
are
that.
symbolic, not
Since-
Okay,
through
we can use
direct
the first
payment.
time, dear.
Since we're talking about that, we think you are not cheap if you make your guests pay for your wedding. Why? Because transparency in communication is healthy for all relationships.
Huh?
Yeah.
Right? It is more efficient if you tell me what you want and I give or don't give what you want.
Yeah.
Comparing to you don't tell me what you want, yet you have an expectation of me
Okay.
fulfilling your
Yeah.
expectation,
Hold it.
and then if I didn't, and then you get angry with me.
Yeah, yeah.
So if I make you pay at my wedding, I'm telling you clearly what I want, which is good for our relationships.
Okay, but
You
what if I
don't
don't want
stop
to?
me
Friends.
back.
What if I don't want to pay? So you tell me what you want, but I say no.
Then I will extend the invitation back to you and say, oh, then I'm so sorry. Can I extend this invitation to someone else who can foot the
Yeah,
bill for me? I
yeah.
hope you understand. Because communication in a friendship is key, my
But
fellow.
I'm your
Yeah.
second best friend. How
Yeah,
dare you
but
not
then,
invite
but
me?
then in that sense also, you are not actually making me pay what? You are giving me an out.
I am
No.
making you pay. I'm giving you, this is my minimum amount there. If you can come, if you cannot come, I'm so sorry, but I hope we still be friends.
So you do that to all your guests?
Yes!
Yes.
So what if nobody says they want to pay?
Then don't come.
Then
It's
don't
So
okay.
you
come.
have no wedding?
At least I know I'm paying for my own meal, my own venue.
Yeah.
One pax. Hey, my husband also.
Two.
Two.
Then you're defeating
Then
the
you're-
purpose of this
yeah, then
debate
what's
because
the
you're making your
whole-
guests pay.
Exactly.
Yeah, lah, that's the flip around
Yeah.
here. I want to make you pay. If you think I'm cheap after that, then that's really sad for our friendship.
But we're not. We're
But
coming.
I'm your third best friend. How can you
Exactly.
not want me at your wedding?
Wait, I'm your third best friend.
No, because
I'm
he's
your
your
fourth
second.
and second.
Okay, wait. In 2021, 38% of surveyed Singaporeans from a social development network report indicated that they felt uncomfortable with weddings that were perceived as financially exploitative, especially when it comes
Ah.
A
to the
point we've
expect-
already
Ah.
raised. A point we've already
expectation
raised.
that guests should cover substantial parts of the event
Good research,
cost.
but a
Wait,
point we've already raised.
Read your beginning of this sentence.
Read
How
it
many
again.
percent?
38%.
So means 62 agrees.
Don't, yeah.
but there is
Huh?
still a substantial
Yeah lah,
amount
but
of
Yeah, lah, but the
Singaporeans.
majority think otherwise.
So we follow the majority for everything?
Yeah.
No, but we're
It's
talking.
a Chinese run nation.
Yeah.
Chinese number one.
And I
I can't
will
believe
not
you
do
have to
anything.
cut
It's
out
not
this
personal attack
portion.
when you're 60% Chinese.
Yes, where's my privilege?
According to Circle DNA.
According to Circle
Yeah.
DNA. This
Oh.
episode was brought to you by
By
Circle
Circle
DNA.
I think that point you cannot like. You cannot say not a minority think this is the right way. Hence, we should look at this survey. I think the entire
Doesn't the minority voice count?
Oh,
it does, it
Oh.
does. But the majority's voice also counts. So when you give a point with that kind of number, the entire survey result is irrelevant lah.
So the minorities are irrelevant to you?
That's
Voices
not
are
what I'm
irrelevant.
saying. That is
Exactly,
typical
wow.
how
textbook
dare you?
gaslighting, and that's not what I'm saying, right? So if 62% people think that making people pay at their wedding is not cheap, then we also have a point, what? And our point has more people supporting it, what? Right?
but you're making people pay for a joyous occasion, isn't it? Cheap.
Yeah,
Eh,
lah.
people pay for joyful occasions. You
Yeah.
pay for concerts, right?
Yeah,
you pay for
birthdays.
dinner,
No, I
right?
cried at a concert.
You
Mm.
you pay for enjoyable moments and events, right? What is a wedding? It's an event.
The only true moment that I enjoy myself is at your wedding.
For-
And I don't expect to pay. But if you make me pay, then I
Exactly.
don't enjoy your wedding. lah.
Exactly. It becomes a burden.
I should be blessing y'all with my whole heart.
Yes.
My true
I don't need your
intentions.
heart.
Yes.
Ah!
Because exactly, I agree
Your
with you
heart is
because
gonna make me broke.
data
Oh.
doesn't lie, okay? 54%, no, 54 this time, of
Oh.
Singaporeans felt that weddings should be an opportunity for guests to celebrate and
Uh-huh.
enjoy the event without
You
the
can-
financial pressure.
Is that the line without financial pressure?
Yes.
Yeah.
Without significant financial pressure.
The way she gaslights her facts.
How is that different?
How is that? Yeah.
Ah.
How is that
Eh,
different?
Of course, it's different. Significant financial burden.
Means?
This motion is not. It's not. You
What?
are cheap if you make your guests pay significant amount at your.
Okay, so
wedding.
you make
it
them
may
pay a
not
tiny
pay,
amount,
pay
but
what?
it's significant to me. It's
Exactly.
I'm not
not
expecting to profit. I'm just
Yeah.
expecting to not be broke
correct,
from
but
this
to
wedding.
help you reach the break-even point, I am losing significantly.
Eh,
I am broke.
most of the time, the people who come to a wedding, they are only paying for costs that's related to them. We are not asking you to pay for the MC what.
Correct.
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
asking
yeah.
you to
So
pay
how
for
much?
singer what.
Okay, so
I
whatever.
I'm asking
I
you to
didn't
pay
ask
for
for
the
the
food you
entertainment.
eat what.
That's fine.
Ah.
But I think the food is too much. I didn't ask to eat at a 5-star hotel. You
I
asked me to
chose.
be there.
Eh.
I chose to be there as your fifth
Correct.
best friend.
That was a
And then I
point
gotta
that we
pay.
raised
Going
in
for
our
that, yes.
first round.
When
The
we
room is
say
filled with
you,
guests.
right, it's a big you.
Yeah, it's to the
As a
audience.
comedian,
So when we say you, it's a small
we
you.
want-
lah.
did you see us getting offended? You sensitive.
What? Say it. Say it. Ah.
He's already the fifth best friend.
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's
you
all.
are not cheap if you make your guests
You
pay
are
at
cheap.
your wedding.
The winner of this entire debate is Hezi and Ling.
I mean,
Congratulations.
did
Well
Congrats.
done.
to 30
By how
minutes.
many
Thank
points?
you.
Can say
Yeah, I
not.
can see.
Yeah.
And let's
Yeah.
present the trophy.
Okay, yeah.
Ah,
you can
it's already
self
on our side.
present, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
well done.
Thank you.
Well
Smile and
done,
wave
well
to the
done.
camera. Yeah.
Well done.
Come
yeah.
to our wedding and pay.
Yes.
Thank you for watching till the end of today's Hash It Out episode. We hope to see you more in the next one. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel. See you soon. Bye bye.